Alright, and I'm back for Game 3 between Dawn and the Solaire Club. My co-casters have both left, so this is apparently the way things work now. I get 2 for one game and none for Game 2. So I'd rather have 1 for each game, but apparently we can't have that, so screw this. Just gonna quit. Anyway, it is ridiculously late in Europe, so it's understandable that Shorkan had to go to bed. And enthozz has a WoW raid, so it's not understandable that he couldn't cast. And in fact, he's a giant bitch, and you guys should all kill him. So there's that. Apparently I do have 500 followers, which means, yes, indeed, new Dancing a Riot. So that'll be happening after this cast. I'm gonna have to take a second to take my shirt off, but it'll be fine. Anyway. Legion side, going to ban out Ophelia and Parasite, and Cthulhu and Swiftblade going to be taken out by the guys on Dawn. So, typical bans for the Hellborn side, pretty common bans for the Legion side as well, trying to eliminate the jungle options, and that's going to lead into once again a first pick, not once again a first pick Kraken, it's going to be a first pick Magnus, and then a Tempest and a Kraken and Silhouette for the Legion team. So, Solaire Club trying to prove that they can run Silhouette just as well as the guys on Dawn. Force a Game 3 here, and Cannondorf is a pretty damn good Solaire Club, or not Solaire Club player. Yes, he is a good Solaire Club player, but he's also a good Silhouette player, so it would be good to see his Sil. And I don't think he plays it quite as well as Probusk. Probusk, one of the better ones in the scene right now, but definitely still up there in terms of the overall makeup of Silhouette players. Hellborn will counter with Rhapsody and Prisoner after their Tempest selection, so lots of lockdown here. Not a good amount of defensive capabilities, but not too much in terms of pure damage. Definitely not seeing a Probusk hero quite yet, as you often see the stuff like Soul Stealer and Silhouette and Oogie and stuff. Really, really high damage heroes. That's what he seems to like to play. So the Legion side realizing that, and they're going to try to address him a little bit, banning out Clanks, Puppet Master, and the Dark Lady, all definitely Probusk heroes. And Hellborn going to take out Dr. Repulsor, Oogie, and Glacius, really only one of which is a decidedly Probusk hero, and that's the Oogie. Glacius, obviously more focused to Stand March, who, again, had a really terrible time last game, but didn't have a bad game. It's just he couldn't get levels, and, it's like when you're up against that many initiations. I mean, they had 3 PKs on the Legion side, and it's just, things are going to suck for you. Glacius against Silhouette is terrible because he can literally just spin right out of freeze. So he gets frozen and he hits Q and it's done. It's just over. So I feel for you, Stan Marsh. I've had a lot of games like that where you're just like, what do I do? Just crying to your pillow at night. But look, waiting for the 4th pick here on the Legion side. They are still looking for at least one support hero. Last game, of course, Noob played the Jungle Doctor, and that has been banned out by Labyrinth, as he did have a pretty solid game with it. There are a couple of jungle options left in the Solstice, and the Keeper, and the Legionnaire, and that will be the choice. I believe Noob has played Legionnaire before. My only concern with this is Lego is typically a better Hellborn jungler because of the way that the jungles are set up. He has a much better time stacking and farming in the Hellborn Woods than he does in the Legion Woods. It's not to say that he can't do it there, but more that he's a better suited hero for the Hellborn side. And I'm a little bit worried about that pick for that reason. I really would have preferred a Keeper of the Forest, I think. Keeper on top of Kraken and Magnus would have provided so much lockdown for Silhouette to just get in there and start pounding in auto attacks. It would have also given them a dimension of push they don't really have as much, except for Silhouette, who can split push really well, and so can Keeper. So that would have allowed them to play some pretty solid rat HoN on the Legion side, and obviously increase their tank presence against a team that doesn't have damage and continues to lack it, as they pick up the Pharaoh on the Hellborn team, and that's probably going to be in the hands of Time to Die here, who plays a very good Pharaoh, in fact. Labyrinth's going to be picking up the Prisoner, and he's a good hook player, so that'll be fun. Iceland Gogo on the Tempest, that is one of the 2 jungle heroes he prefers, the one being Ophelia, I believe. I think he plays Parasite too, but I don't know. I know, Vindicator, okay. That's interesting. It's going to be a hard support Vindicator here is my assumption. The only other option is the hard support Magnus, but that seems pretty unlikely. It's a nice hero against a Tempest, as the silence will stop his ultimate even through Shrunken Head. He can purge the silence, though, if he pops the Shrunken after his... if he pops the Shrunken after the silence goes through. I'm a little bit worried about it in this game, because Vindy's issue is he's really squishy, he has no mobility and no CC pulls or anything like that. Okay, so SolC is the weak one that goes to ProBusk, and there's the source of their damage, and as I said before, SolC very much a ProBusk hero, so no huge surprise there. But back to the Vindy for a second. It's an interesting and definitely a unique pick, and I'm excited to see how it goes, but I'm just honestly not that huge a fan of Vindicator in general. He can potentially fit both the support and a carry role. His damage output is ridiculous if you can actually right-click people, but again, his lack of lockdown makes him really difficult to play. Because if he gets jumped on by this Hellborn team, he's probably going to die, even with the lack of damage from everybody except for ProBusk for the most part. And if team fights move a lot with... And if you look at the rest of the Legion side, that's their plan. I mean, they're looking to have high mobility on this team. You got 4 heroes really, that are probably looking to pick up a PK sooner rather than later. And I mean, is Vindicator going to be able to help with that? He's got the global ultimate, but his totem isn't going to be super helpful, and his brain drain is just not that good a spell in my opinion, especially against a Hellborn team. Yeah, Pharaoh and Prisoner will be annoyed by it, but Soulstealer, Tempest, and Rhapsody should be mostly okay, even losing a little bit of intelligence. And yeah, that's a really strange pick to me. I feel like there are much better options on the board, as they really did try to ban out mostly. I can't remember if you guys Kong. That's a notable Solaire Club thing, by the way, is taking Kong. Yeah. Plot twist, you're actually Kong. Not only are they Kong, like, they are actually Kongor. They're not doing Kong, their heroes are Kongor. Oh, that'd be so much fun. Okay, so in terms of better support fits, yeah, Tempest is annoying, and they've got Kraken, and they have Legionnaire, both of which can cancel Tempest Hole through Shorkan, and both of them should get portal keys. So I'm not really concerned about their ability to hit that R button and stop. He's going to be extremely disruptive in team fights, but I just think that they're going to lack... I mean, they have a lot of damage and a lot of catch potential, so they need something with a little bit more mobility. I don't remember exactly what was on the board, but I think pretty much that everything was available. I mean, Pyromancer would be good. They don't have a ton of burst on this Legion side, so adding the Pyromancer would give them some of that, Witch Slayer for the same reason. Torturer would help Silhouette in this bottom lane a lot more than Vindicator, I think, especially when it comes to boxing out what is a Suicide Pharaoh, and they probably knew it was going to be a Suicide Pharaoh once they saw the Pharaoh on top of the Prisoner pick. So that would have been solid, and it would have provided some AoE damage in team fights, which they have some of, but not a ton. I believe all those heroes are still available. I don't think any of them were banned. What else? Engineer and Magmus, a very strong combination, and obviously would sync extremely well with the Eruption and with the Kraken ulti. It would also prevent the Hellborn team from being able to move in and out of fights. I mean, to be honest, there's like 8 different supports, I think, that would have worked a lot better than Vindicator in this situation. I mean, you see him, he's doing everything he can to lock down this Pharaoh. He's just continuously right-clicking him, he's just not doing all that much damage. You put a Torture in this exact same situation, and Pharaoh gets nothing. No levels, no farm, nothing. He's forced to use his health potions sooner, because the Impalement is going to destroy him, and Brain Drain does not do the same thing. And for that matter, Vindicator's now at half mana after he's used that spell a couple of times, so it's just not all that helpful. And yeah, Pharaoh all of a sudden is like, yeah, you want to get aggressive? Let's get aggressive. And he's going to hit level 3 right there. Should be able to drop the Hellfire pretty soon. He's got level 2 in that, and it's going to force ProBusk to either help or lose his support hero here in Stand March, because the Hellfire and the level 1 Mumblewells can probably kill him. So ProBusk's going to block the stack? No, he's actually going to block neither stack. Double damage in the bottom lane would be picked up by Legionnaire. He's going to find this Pharaoh as he rotates over. So, time to die. Not doing too well in terms of the farm, but he's definitely got some levels, and that's solid from a Suicide player. Similar thing going on at the top lane anyway from Army of Mums on the Kraken. He does have a substantial amount of farm, actually, at 230 GPM. I was looking at the wrong column, or the wrong player. But ProBusk still not doing bad. 230? Okay, never mind, he is doing bad. Again, looking at the wrong player. It's Labyrinth that's doing really well in the middle lane. 360 GPM for him. He is the top farmer in the game, and Tempest in the Woods doing just fine as well. Legionnaire for the Legion side is actually the top farmer, so maybe I was completely wrong, and Lego in the Legion Woods is just fine. So, relatively passive early on. Actually, bottom lane, Pharaoh going at it with this Vindicator, and yeah, the Hellfire is there. If he can get a couple more auto attacks, is he going to be able to find this? I don't know. His Hellfire's going to be wearing off here in a second, and Ganondorf is chasing him down. Meanwhile, middle lane is actually the Bloodlust that goes there, so let's switch this back and check out Magmus. Obviously, Magmus really, really poor against Resner, and that's a pretty easy Bloodlust. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they do in fact finish off Time to Die, so solid juke there from... everybody is pro Busk on Hellborn. Anyway, solid juke there from Stand March allows him to survive and get the counter kill on Time to Die. He was playing a little bit aggressive there, but... I mean, if that wasn't more or less a perfect juke, it would have been a death on the support Vindicator right there. And almost nobody else would have died in that situation. Almost on their support. Top lane, Kraken going to miss the charge, actually, so he can be in some trouble. Glacial Blast will be there, 1 stun and 2. Probus going to need to land a couple of Demon Hands here, or the auto attack, and 1 Demon Hand, and Army of Moms takes the fall. So that'll help his farm out a lot. Obviously, early laning phase, much harder for SolC before he builds those souls up, and at this point, it's going to be really difficult for cracking the lane in this top lane because Probusk now at 350 GPM. He's level 5. He's got level 2 Demon in Souls. It's plus 20 damage to for nearly 100. And the Kraken's 200 GPM is not going to increase anytime soon. Middle lane Magmus getting boxed out as well. Actually, Jisman has 71 gold per minute. And up top lane. I mean, they're going to try to finish off this Kraken once again. Tempest nearly dying bottom. It's the other suicide that's falling instead as Legionnaire coming in for a gank. They're going to just chase him down here into the charge. And actually, nice Mummy Walls there, but it's still going to be... Who is it here? The dunk from Noob with Noob that finishes him off, so that's not bad. Tempest trying to block out Kraken with his elementals, but he won't be able to find the angle. And we'll see if they actually rotate somebody over. Rhapsody, yeah, looking at the cutoff onto this Kraken, but actually moving a little bit too late. And Kraken, with his boots of speed, is able to get out of here just fine. Also pops the health potion. And he actually drags the creep wave all the way back. He actually wants to maintain this because he can manage to pull it behind this tier 1 tower and farm it up, which will be helpful. Oh, not gonna hit the stun or the hook. There is Labyrinth. So Jisman in this middle lane at 70 gold per minute. So the Hellborn and Legion are pretty even on GPM. It's the experience advantage that is going the way of the Legion side, Solaire Club, at this point. And that's good. But they're going to need to get Magmus a place where he can farm. Now, the advantage is Silhouette can obviously farm in a lot of different areas in the map. She can be extremely efficient and evasive, so she doesn't necessarily have to continue farming in safe places, and that's going to open up some of the jungle for Magmus, hopefully. But they do have to farm a Portal Key on Kraken as well. He's at 175 GPM. So a lot of this is going to rely on how much of the map the Legionnaire and Silhouette can open up, because they need items on those two heroes, and without them, they're just not going to be very effective. Middle lane, meanwhile, Labyrinth's going to get jumped on, and Noob with another dunk, so Jisman going to pick up an assist right there, and that's really, really helpful, and they needed that gank extremely badly. What is this Vindy alt that's doing ridiculous dancey type disco stuff? Jesus Christ. Anyway, Pharaoh in the bottom lane. No, not going to be aggressed on. I was figuring that Ganondorf might go for something here, as he's kind of deep. Just go for all the denies he can, as Time to Die continuing to have some issues with his farm. In fact, he's going to get jumped on by Magmus here, and no way to get out of that, as they hasted Magmus, assisting for the kill, in fact, getting the kill, and Ganondorf taking a fair bit of damage, but he will be just fine, obviously. Oh, Tempest on the top lane, gonna lock down Kraken. Do they have enough damage to finish him off? He's gonna have to charge on away, and he is actually now in a lot of trouble. He does not have a teleport, and he's probably gonna have to kill himself to neutrals if he doesn't want to give away a kill. Rocket's gonna spot him, actually hits on him as well. And he's just going to chase everybody into the Legion Wood, into the Hellborn Woods. This is actually not that bad. Could touch Demon Hand even. He's wasting a lot of time from Probusk, and Time to Die picks up the kill as he eats the tower hit. So that's not bad either. Middle lane, meanwhile, Vindicator, easy kill there, as I believe the hook was used and connected onto this poor little Vindy who has no escape mechanism. So Magma's trying to recover here a little bit in the in the middle lane. Legion Woods. It's not even close to Legion Woods. It is close to Legion Woods, but in terms of proximity, not pronunciation. So, relatively even game once again, and this does mirror in many ways the early part of Game 1, Solaire Club and Dawn. Seem like they're pretty similar in terms of the laning phase. It was the post-laning phase where Dawn really took an advantage, and Solaire Club could not catch up the rotations from the Dawn team. Probusk's ability to find farm in strange places, and therefore his team's ability to get farm on the back of that in safer places, really allowed Dawn to get a gold lead that became insurmountable, and not necessarily going to be the case here, but bottom lane, meanwhile, Mummy Walls go on to the Vindy. That's going to be one kill. Rhapsody actually could be in some trouble, but he's on his own dance floor, and Legionnaire is going to have to get backed off here. That's Magician with the stun onto Labyrinth. Labyrinth's going to pop the ultimate. Is only a hit on the one, and that's the Legionnaire. They're still trying to finish him off. Lava Surge back up in a couple of seconds. That should be able to kill this prisoner if they can land it. He's looking for something more. He wants to hit 2. He does finish off Hugo back, and there goes Pharaoh as well. Prisoner is going to survive for the meantime. Throws a hook, does not connect. Tempest looking for something, but he's actually only at a little bit over the amount of mana he needs for a Glacial Blast. So, although he did use the elementals. So, good play there once again from the Legion side. They pick up a couple of hero kills. Actually, middle lane, they're going to get on top of this Tempest. They don't have enough follow-up to kill him, but lots of gold coming in from those elementals. Something to not underestimate if you're a Tempest player. Be careful about your elementals, because those give 35 gold or so per creep. And that means if the opposing team kills all 6 of them, that's 360 gold. It's the equivalent of a hero kill, or more, if you lose all of them. So, something to keep an eye on. That's a lot of people are just like, oh, elementals, we'll just send them in, it'll be fine. And then they die. And you're like, well, crap, that's a lot of gold. No, it's 180 gold. What am I even talking about? It's still a lot of gold. It's like a tier 1 tower kill.
The Legion have
I promise you guys, I know how to math. Middle lane, they will get the hook onto Kraken as well as the Shackle. No way he's getting out of that, as he can't charge away, so he just does some damage while he awaits his death. Game continuing to be extremely even. There's a little bit of action on both sides, actually. It looks like Kandorf's trying to steal some enemy agents right here. These are double stacked, but he's not going through them all that quickly. No Nullstone quite yet, so he will get some of this, but has to back off as Pharaoh spots him out. Wrath of Pharaoh is available, and he might want to try to initiate on this. Meanwhile, middle lane, it is Jisman who's taking the death. Let's go back to that. As, oh, it's the prisoner. Oh, we'll back him in, and that's easy kills. So, Dawn continuing to shut down this Magmus and prevent him from getting the portal key. Still doesn't even have a Steam Boots or a bottle yet. Hellborn looking to push in a tier 1 tower middle. Without that Magmus and his Eruption, it's much harder for the Legion team to defend. But there's the Legionnaire jumping in with his brand new portal key. Rhapsody ultimate going to stop some damage as it releases the Kraken and eventually leaves. Tempest Hole catches 2. There goes Noob McNoob on the Legionnaire. Wrath of Pharaoh going to help keep people in place. Army of Mums going to be the second death. Hellborn side wants to continue chasing. They're going to be able to catch the Vindicator with the Mummy Walls and the Hellfire. That's a 3rd kill in their favor, and Pharaoh should be able to get out of here before the tower kills him. Yep, and they also finish off the tower. So, really, really good counter initiation there from the Hellborn side as Legionnaire goes in there and he gets the taunt, but Legionnaire is like, you know, doesn't do all that much damage. So the follow-up without the Kraken portal key, without the Magmus portal key, just really isn't there. You can see that if that had been done 5 minutes from now, and Magnus has a PK, and Kraken has a PK, and Magnus is level 11, that could easily have been 4 hero kills in favor of the Solaire Club. But Noob jumping in with 430 GPM, he's farming really, really well, but he's mostly a tank at this point. He just doesn't do much offensively. And his team can't either, so that's a situation where you need to realize, like, yeah, I can jump in and counter this and keep them in one place and slow them down and stuff like that, but can we actually do anything here? And the answer is no. No, top lane, they won't be able to catch this silhouette, just going to be able to skirt on out of there. Haystern still is available on Labyrinth for a while, and it doesn't look like they really want to go for this in any urgency. That was the word I was looking for. Well, they're going to jump back on with the PK, but so it's just like I'm going to be fine. Pops Illusion to get out of the shackle, and the tree grapple to avoid the hook. Good times. By the way, Nullstone picked up on Soul Stealer, portal key on Labyrinth that we just saw. Pharaoh still working on his upgraded boots, as he only has 182 GPM, but he should have those relatively quickly. Tempest going for the team fight build, as he's got the Ring of Sorcery and the Astrolabe. Relatively quickly, actually, 350 GPM on Iceland, so not bad at all. I'd like to see them continue to push down some towers. He's got his Astrolabe back up, so go take some team fights, guys, and that looks like what they're going to do in this middle lane. Kraken will get hooked in. He gets shackled, but after the charge went off, and that's going to be the end of that fight, Totem is popped and killed, as that really discourages any continued initiation on the Hellborn side, and it is successful in getting Kraken out of there. Rapsy, by the way, did finish off her Steam Boots, so she's actually farming just about the same as this Pharaoh. But Pharaoh, one of those heroes that he can be extremely disruptive without farm. So the fact that he only has Steam Boots right now doesn't matter all that much. And the fact that he's only level 8 doesn't matter all that much. He's probably not going to survive too long in these bigger team fights if it's not just like a catch situation. But he can be really, really annoying. And that's pretty much what he's looking to do right here. And he's done that successfully. He did take that early death in the bottom lane, actually a couple of them, but he's since gone to 2-4-2, and that's not bad. Definitely doing better than his counterpart on the Legion side in Army of Mums, 0-4-1. Playing, and stop me if you've heard this before, but Kraken. What a surprise. By the way, poor Stan March once again, still level 6. Lowest level in the game. Take a look at the XPM charts. He's kind of substantially below everybody else in terms of experience. So very much Fusen-esque for Stan March. Sacrifice all 14. And it seems like it's happening once again here with Dawn just out-farming their opponents. And they're up 10-6 in hero kills, so their engagements have been better than they were in the last game when they were down in hero kills for the longest time. But Kraken on the top lane, going to be in some trouble, and how does he get out of this? He has no portal key. He's going to try to get away with a teleport, I guess, but oh, Tempest Hole completely wasted. He's got the TP on out. That's painful if you're the Hellborn team. And bottom lane, it's going to be the jump onto Pharaoh. Yeah, there's the initiation from Legionnaire, and just too much damage as Silhouette shows up. So that's the kind of follow-up the Legionnaire is looking for. I've got a Silhouette and a Magnus behind me. I'm going to go jump in. That's fine. It's earlier. Anyway, bottom lane, it's going to be Prisoner looking for the ultimate onto multiple heroes. We'll only find the Magnus. Shackle's there as well, and they easily killed Jismin. The rest of the Legion team will back off with the portal key on Legionnaire. Silhouette still does not have a PK, and she's, I guess, just finishing up her Nullstone. She's at nearly 400 GPM, and 15 minutes in, she should have her Nullstone, and if not, she just shouldn't have no gold on top of a Sustainer. And the Hellborn will be pushing the bottom lane, so yeah, that Astrolabe and Ring of Sorcery pick up from Tempest, they need to continue doing things like that. Yeah, that would have been my guess, that Tempest probably meant to use the Meteor in the top lane. I was kind of surprised when he didn't. I was just like, maybe he's thinking Kraken will immediately go for the TP, but even if he had, he would have had enough time to drop the Meteor and then the Glacial Blast to stop it, or even the Hole if then he wanted to stop the TP with the Hole. But, yeah. Wasn't great. Middle lane Vindicator and Kraken pushing this down. They will get a tower kill. Will they lose anything for it? The deny goes through from Probusk, and Vindicator trying to run away. Wrath of Pharaoh connects onto him though, and that'll be a 1 for a tower. Top lane Silhouette with the Israel Silhouette gets the tree grapple off, and she has an illusion in the middle lane though, so not in too much trouble. We'll just pour it out to it before it expires, and they split push from Silhouette, becoming problematic. But Hellborn actually still taking the tower kill lead, as they've taken 3 out initially, and Legion still just the 2 with the top tier 1 available. So Dawn continuing to expand on their lead here, just about 7k gold and 5k experience ahead. And like I said a little bit earlier, it's very similar to last game, where Dawn and Solaire Club had similar laning phases in terms of overall resource control, but since then, Dawn has just massively outfarmed their opponents. And it's not just about the hero kills either. Top lane, they're going to defend the tower successfully. Magnus will try to get away, but he's going to get hooked right back out, and he should be killed. Word of Revelation goes down, and Soul Burst in the last auto attack goes to the Labyrinth right there. So, good thing that Rhapsody had a Rev Ward right there, but I think they probably had that kill anyway with the Soul Burst, and then presumably a Demon Hand right on the top of it would have had sufficient damage to kill the Magnus. Yet another pick for the guys on Dawn. And this is the winner's bracket semifinals, which means that the winner of this series moves on to the winner bracket finals, and the winner of that series goes to Diamond Division for next cycle. So Dawn just a couple of wins away from getting back to Diamond Division for the next cycle. And Solaire Club, a loss and a couple more losses away from having that dream eliminated. But they've gotten pretty far so far, and wouldn't be surprised to see them continue to carry their ride through this cycle of gold, even if they do happen to lose this series. Which, I mean, to be fair to them, they probably should. Dawn is a better team than Solaire Club is, and they're definitely making this interesting, both of these games. But they really need to find a way to get Magnus and Kraken some farm here. Kraken has Steam Boots, Magnus has Steam Boots, but neither of them are particularly close to a portal key. Both well over 1,000 gold away, and Canadorf is taking a lot of farm, Noob is continuing to take farm. I feel like this Legionnaire needs to gank. You get a portal key relatively early on, but he's really not making work of it. On the Hellborn side, you've got this Rhapsody with actually 1,000 health, so it's not even that easy to kill her. 815 when she's done in Strength Steam Boots. Middle lane, meanwhile, Kraken going to get pulled back in by the Labyrinth hook, and Labyrinth on an onslaught streak, 7-1-3. So earlier when I said Labyrinth was good at hook heroes, yep, he is. Prisoner especially. He also plays a solid Gauntlet, to my recollection. Yeah, I mean, I guess they could have dual laned the Magnus middle and left the Silhouette on bottom. Top lane, they will lock down the Legionnaire, and there's the Soul Burst on top of it. Legionnaire actually is gonna fall. Eruption goes on to both of them. Astrolabe goes through though. I think Tempest and Soul Stealer will fall or survive easily. Should have said not fall. But anyway, Justman realizing pretty quickly he doesn't want any more part of this, but he gets hit by the Shackle and the Wrath and the Hook. So that's the end of that, as Kraken tries to get out of here with the charge. He probably will be okay. There's no real more catch potential on this Hellborn side. PK was down for Tempest. He doesn't have enough mana to stun anyway. And they'll turn this into a tier 2 tower kill in the top lane. I mean, they could have supported Magnus mid, but he was probably still going to lose that lane, just because he gets destroyed by Prisoner in general. And I don't think Vindicator is going to do a lot to help that. Like, in fact, he might just feed more. Robust getting chased down by Canadorf. He's going to get swapped out as the illusion was about to die. He didn't really want to commit to that kill, especially because some more support could have been coming in. Kraken getting hit once again by the hook, and he's going to die because the ult's going to pull him back in. Absolutely in the background, trying to save Labyrinth as much as possible. Will do so, but he's going to fall for it as the dunk goes through. We'll see if they can actually finish off this Prisoner. Yeah, they can. He's going to drop his portal key in an attempt to make a fun play, but now his PK's deep in this top lane. And he's going to have to do some fun courier stuff to get it back, and that looks like what they're doing. Meanwhile, they will counterword this Word of Rev. So Stan March gets that just before it expires. Legionnaire going to continue to farm these Ancients, which are triple stacked. And why would you give those to Magnus when you can give them to Legionnaire? Alright, they will give them to Magnus. Good. Thank you. Thank you for giving me something to this poor Magnus. They will also get a tower kill in the top lane. Magnus will have a stun here. Yep, there it is. And a lot of Volcanic Touch will help finish these creeps off. So he's about 1,000 off of his PK, so is the Kraken. Again, neither of them having a good game at all, and without them, the initiation and follow-up just isn't that good for this Legion team. It's becoming a serious problem, especially because the counter initiation for the Hellborn is so good. With the Rhapsody, with the Prisoner, with the Tempest, and the Pharaoh, I mean, they can jump and counter jump so easily. which means that if you don't get a really, really good initiation and follow-up off on the Legion side, you're not going to do very well. And not to mention, they've itemized, you know, especially in the Tempest, very much in the supportive way, the Astrolabe in particular being the sort of item that's like, yeah, I'm going to keep my teammates alive, and if they get jumped, then they could see a Portal Key Astrolabe trying to save some people, along with a Rhapsody, of course. Silhouette does have her Portal Key. She's gone for the Energizer in Steam Boots build, so robust class game going for Ghost Marchers, I believe, if I recall correctly. And this game, Kennedorf figuring he'd rather have Steam Boots and Energizer. I like that build quite a lot, to be honest, actually. Legionnaire hasn't picked up too much more since the Helm PK, as his farm has started to drop off a little bit. Meanwhile, Conqueror looks like it'll be attempted by the guys on Dawn. India's support does kind of suck. Word of Reverie, meanwhile. Gonna look for some wards. And the double damage rune on the Soul Stealer is helping them kill Kong real quick. Obviously, Pharaoh, very good Kong hero. So that'll be Token onto Provosk. That's really, really helpful for him. He has picked up a Portal Key, by the way, along top of the Nullstone and the Shrunken Head. So both games going for heavily defensive items. Really no offensive items early on. Even the Portal Key can be considered not an offensive item. It's sort of neutral. It fills both roles, and obviously it helps with the offense from both Silhouette, like you played last game, and Soul Stealer in this game. The difference is it doesn't give you offensive stats. Meanwhile, Wrath of the Pharaoh and a Tempest Hole are actually going to catch Jismin on this Magmus, so they blow a lot of ultimates, actually. The Soul Burst was there, too. They just want to get that kill really, really quickly and continue to slow down the PK on this Magmus. It's 24 minutes, and he still does not have a Portal Key.
The Hellborn have overrun a Legion FOB.
That's not really where you want to be. And with the brand new token, they're going to look to push high ground right here. Soul Stealer missing auto attacks, who's going to head on up the hill.
The Legion have overrun a Hellborn.
And Legion going to split push all over the place, so they get 2 tier 2 towers killed, and they're actually going to even up the overall tower situation. It's not bad at all. It's mostly the creeps pushing it out. And the Hellborn are going to back off, so they put some pressure on the Legion side, force some teleports back, and then decide to get out, which is fine. Magma's going to finish off his Portal Key right there. The Tower Gold really very helpful. Kraken has his as well, so now is a good timing for the Solaire Club. They're down, but they're not irredeemably down, and the Hellborn have some good, decent tanks in Prisoner and Pharaoh, but mostly they're pretty squishy, so if they can manage to lock down the Rhapsody, prevent her from getting an ult or at least an effective ultimate off, then they could do some pretty serious damage in these team fights. I mean, Silhouette will do a lot, Magmus will do a lot, Kraken will do a fair bit, and Vindicator can be extremely disruptive, so same thing with Legionnaire. So Solaire Club may have a window right here to start bringing this game back a little bit. Their team fight's still very, very good. Hellborn's is as well, but this is about where they want to start to engage if they're going to. Like, I'm just not sure if this game is going to get super better for them in terms of opportunities to take fights, because I feel like Dawn is going to continue to expand their lead if they play this extremely passively. I mean, Solaire Club of 9 kills in 25 minutes because for the most part they haven't been going for all that much, and Silhouette in the top lane using the illusion to split push, as she will do. But this is a good way to counter split push, actually. Just say, you cannot split push as fast as we can 5-man push, so you want to be cheeky, move around the map like that, go for it, but we're going to take your racks in the meantime. Hellborn have good initiation. They have the Hook and the Pharaoh, I would say. And then follow up with Tempest Hole and Soul Burst. I think their initiation is just fine, to be honest. Yeah, but that's why you have Pharaoh. Sorry, Twitch chat. I mean, Pharaoh goes first. Pharaoh always goes first. Or Prisoner. I mean, it depends on who can find the correct angle and whose skills complement the distribution of heroes. But if they're all grouped up, they could both go. If they want to pick off somebody quickly, Pharaoh might be a better choice. If they can get a couple of people with a hook, then That could be good if they can get or Magnus to the shackle or something like that. That could be valuable. Double damage rune once again on SolC. He's going to sit in the low ground here and continue to fire auto attacks uphill. He's going to miss a couple of them, but he's still doing enough damage that it's worth it. Oh, Prisoner gonna hit the hook onto Kraken. Doesn't get the shackle off though, and Kraken charges away. SolC has about a minute left on this token, so he's gonna be able to take the tower down here, and should just be looking to auto attack everything to death for the most part. He still has the double damage rune active for a while. Totem gonna die. Hook is gonna hit on the Legionnaire. He will pop the barbed armor right there, and that's gonna prevent a lot of stuff actually. He's looking for the taunt, but he gets locked down. There's a lot of damage coming out on him all of a sudden, and Noob is gonna fall in the background with no realistic chance at a secondary initiation from this Legion team. Meanwhile, Silhouette is pushing the top lane, but middle is dying. And the Hellborn are going to respond to this with the Pharaoh and his barbed armor. That's an illusion Silhouette, but that's the real one that comes back into this. We'll see if she can actually get any kills. Or, yeah, sorry, that was a thing. Never mind. Anyway, Kraken ultimate goes on to SolC, but that's not going to matter. I mean, I'm still dying. A couple of auto attacks from SolC, that's going to be it. SolC will be losing a token right here, but they lock down the Cannondorf on Silhouette, and that'll be a kill. Magnus getting one as Iceland Gogol on the Tempest Balls, but yeah, ulti doesn't matter. Probus picking up a hat trick here as he finishes off the Magnus. Kraken coming back in, looking to kill something, but that's a quad kill, and we'll see if he dies. Yeah, he will before he can pick up the Annihilation. In fact, there looks like they're going to get this Prisoner as well. He's trying to chase down and run away from this Cannondorf Silhouette, but obviously that hero hits real hard, and that'll be it. So they managed to pick off melee racks in the middle lane, but they lose the token, they lose a number of heroes on top of that. No buybacks have been used, but Silhouette wants to head top and get these top racks. And we'll see if she can actually do that. Rhapsody and Pharaoh are both available. And there's a buyback from Probusk, and they will kill the Silhouette Illusion, prevent her from trying to split push, so... Good push from the Hellborn side. They manage to take one set of racks, and obviously taking subsequent racks are much easier if you have the first one down, because it requires the opposing team to pay attention to 2 lanes at once, whereas you only have to deal with 1. And obviously the next Kongor kill probably going to be a big deal, because they don't feel too confident in terms of their overall ability, it seems like. They really wanted that token, and they wanted to make sure that they fought with the token, and they were kind of hesitant, despite the fact that Probusk has nearly 700 GPM, which I didn't realize at all. He is, wow, he's 9-1-7, and he's farming like a boss. Jesus Christ. Anyway, This is a pretty ridiculous SolC. He's picked up a Geometer's Bane on top of his stuff. He's only got 1800 health saved up. He has used one, or 1800 gold saved up. He has used one buyback though, so that's where some of his gold went. And, I mean, Hellborn's team fight continues to be very, very good, and I think they want to take engagements while their gold lead continues to expand. I mean, they have 14k gold advantage right here, and the SolC there is just a ridiculous farmer at this point. But obviously, Tempest all down for a while, so they're going to wait for that to come back up before they push again. And might be looking for one more item for Probusk as well. Geometer's Bane going to do a lot, but I think the Wingbow would do even more for him, give him a pretty serious range advantage and a lot of damage. Legion side, meanwhile, looks like Jisman on the Magnus is going for the push book. And Silhouette will finish off her Geometer's Bane right there. She's at 540 gold per minute, so she's farming quite well also. Not particularly close to Probusk here, but still not bad. And in fact, there's a 4-man gang squad here from the Legion side looking to invade the Hellborn Woods. Tempest gonna get the portal key away, but he's still gonna get the Tempest hole onto a couple. No, the Silence gonna stop it right there. Release the Kraken. Does hit a couple of heroes. Rhapsody getting pulled into a nice eruption from Magnus, doing a ton of damage. We'll see if anybody dies, though. They're not. There's 3 dead on the Legion side, as the entire Hellborn team is really, really low. Actually, Rhapsody popping a regen rune right there and getting herself back up. And somehow, nobody died on the Hellborn team. The Rhapsody ultimate saved a ton of damage, and it was stopped just too late to actually get any kills, so Cannondorf does survive that. Obviously, Stanmarch was nowhere near the engagement. But this is looking like it's going to be a Tier 3 tower and some racks in the top lane as well. And that attempted gank backfired horribly. Noob has a buyback, as does Kraken, who just used one. Silhouette trying to back this off a little bit. She has an illusion in the base, and she will be able to get out. Noob in the back, trying to get something. There's Kraken as well. They'll be able to finish off 2 heroes, in fact, as both the Tempest and Prisoner fall. There goes Yugovic on the Rhapsody as well, and actually SolStealer's portal key continuously being canceled, trying to get in the woods to get the PK out, and he will do so. There's the TP away as well, and it looks like Probusk will be just fine. So, in fact, they don't kill the Tier 3 tower right here. The creeps will put it much closer to deny range, but they won't kill it. And Probusk getting out of there was obviously really big. That did cost them a couple of buybacks on the Legion side as well, so just been actually bought back, so 3 in total, I believe. And Legion side looking to push top lane, so one more engagement like that, and I'd give it about a 95% chance of being game over. 2 more engagements like that, and it is a 100% chance of game over, which means that Solaire Club do not have too much room for error at this point. Probusk does only have 1 buyback, so if they can manage to pick him off and force him to buy out and use it, then that could put them in a pretty good situation, because a lot of their resources are on him. We have 370 GPM on both Prisoner and Tempest, as well as 300 on the Pharaoh, but you can pretty clearly see SolStealer as most of this team. Hero damage chart, he's way up there. And, oh, they're going to be able to catch Silhouette here with the Wrath of the Pharaoh. She's going to die! What you want to be doing there, Cannondorf? And, you know, the split push rat HoN stuff of Silhouette's annoying, but that Wrath of the Pharaoh is a really good counter to it, actually. It's a long duration stun from extremely high range. And the Mummy Wolves don't do all that much thanks to the tree grapple, but okay, well, killing the illusion here is actually going to be valuable because it means that Cannondorf can't buy back and pour it into it. She doesn't have a buyback, they don't know that, so appropriate kill right there. And that might have been one of the 2 mistakes that they can make before the game is 100% over, because they're going to lose a Tier 3 tower in the top lane here. And we'll see if they can defend racks. They do have Eruption available, as well as the Kraken ultimate and the Vindicator silence, but Tempest holds back in literally 1 second. And Pharaoh ultimate is back in less than 10, so this is going to be top racks.
The Legion barracks are liquidated.
And yeah, now you're in a 95% lose situation. Probably more than that, in fact, as top lane. They're going to try to get a counter kill on this Rax here, but Legionnaire is going to get caught and killed for it. So again, trying to split push and counter push and backdoor and stuff to army bombs in the bottom lane, and the Legion base actually dies as well to Labyrinth and Probusk. Probusk, meanwhile, is just basically well diving people, because why not? But here comes Cannondorf with the buyback, with the respawn actually. And Probusk could be in some trouble. He's going to try to get the portal key on out, but it's not going to happen. It keeps getting canceled by these auto attacks as the Geometer's Bane goes through, and yeah, Probusk is going to die right there. So Legion side have 2 lanes of Rex down, but they need to make something happen right now because they have 80 seconds in which they don't have to deal with the SolStealer. And without the SolStealer, the Hellborn actually don't have that much damage. So their ability to take team fights is severely diminished. And meanwhile, the Legion actually have a lot of their ultimates up right now. So they need to counter at least 1 lane of Rax right here, and if they don't, then it's definitely game. Probusk actually does not have a buyback either. He just finished his Wingbow, so not enough gold for it. By the way, he doesn't have a teleport space either. I assume he's going to get boots of, or post haste relatively quickly. And Hellborn trying to counter push a little bit with the Pharaoh Rocket, but this is going to be a dead Tier 2 tower in the middle lane. No huge surprise there. That's the last outer tower. And they're going to rotate top here a little bit. Look for something. Prisoner ultimate, or Prisoner hook, and there's the ultimate as well. Nope. And here comes Tempest with back in. Shrunken Head's getting popped everywhere. Magma's Eruption actually not doing all that much as Noob falls here thanks to Shrunken Head on Prisoner. There goes Jisman as well. The Rev Ward helping out, I'm sure, on top of that ledge. And it looks like Cannondorf will be able to get out of there with the teleport, but that is not what they wanted to have happen. So having Kraken dead there obviously was a pretty serious issue, but the other issue was that really Stanmarch had to stay in base and defend, because otherwise they would have started to lose Tier 4 towers. You can look at it right now, they're already getting these bases, the buildings in the middle have already been mostly killed, and the top, they've got a couple of things to defend themselves, but it's not really all that much. So that was a 3 versus 4 fight right there without Probusk, and it once again goes in favor of Dawn. They're up pretty substantially here. and all sorts of resources. Probusk obviously has respawned at this point, and they're just looking to end it, it looks like. As if we see the Legion team lose bot racks here, I'm going to go ahead and call it GG's. And Probusk is probably just going to come up to that tower, pop his geometer span, and be like, boom, 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 you dead. Illusion's giving vision, Rhapsody floor, keeping them alive. Yeah, boom, 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 you dead. Totem gets killed. Didn't do all that much. Anyway, Legionary in the background going to jump onto Probusk, will lead the Kraken and rag on him as well, but the Rhapsody ultimate going to stop all the damage, and not going to be stopped. Finally, the Vindy ulti goes through. Tempest ultimate still has him to use that, as Noob McNoob and Army of Mums are both dead, as there's the Tempest hole, catching Vindy as well as the Silhouette Illusion, and that's definitely in the game. Only Canadorf and Justman are still alive. Eruption back up in about 5 seconds, but it's going to require them to kill the entire Hellborn team, more or less, because they're really close to losing racks right here. And SolC is going to do it really quickly because he's right-clicking, and they're not going to try to defend it, and that's game. Now, there's the Eruption onto Rhapsody. Really not doing very much damage. Void Talisman gets popped, and yeah, there goes the game. So, Mega Creeps get finished off. GG's are called, and Dawn will take this series 2-0. So, very well played to them once again, and really a situation that they probably should have won. But, you know, Solaire Club, an improving team. And going up against a team in Dawn that has done well in Diamond Division. That's a good experience for them, and it's a good experience for them to take a series like this to 2 40-minute games and realize, look, we did a lot of stuff. I think the place where they still need to improve is in the mid-game. They had some pretty serious problems finding farm for both Kraken and Magnus. Noob McNoob probably took more than he needed to. They need to realize, they needed to be like, look, you know, Magnus and Kraken had a really terrible time in lane, and Noob McNoob didn't. He had a very good time in the jungle. Canadorf had a great time on Silhouette. Silhouette can be an aggressive farmer. She can farm in the Hellborn Woods as long as she makes judicious use of her illusion. That means that mid, Legion Woods, and bot could all be opened up for Kraken and Magnus to free farm until they get a portal key and they can start making stuff happen. But they had 2 heroes in that game that just did absolutely nothing. 2 10-7 on Magnus and 2 11-4 on the Army of Mums. Not to say that they really should have. I mean, they had terrible landing situations, and then there was just nowhere for them to farm. So, in that type of environment, it's completely understandable when a team or a player wouldn't be able to find farm because there's nowhere for them to farm. But part of that is on their team to create space for them so that they can get the item or items that they need. I mean, it's the same way that it's the same reason to protect a carry, and you don't just like, oh, well, he'll get his farm and I'll do whatever I want. No, if you're a support player, you don't take farm because the carry needs it. So it's the same stuff for your initiator, for your ganker, to a lesser degree, but it's the same idea. But Dawn really showing they know how to farm, and they know how to rotate, and they know how to make stuff happen. Probusk, 700 GPM in both of these games, and if you're going to let somebody do that, then you're not going to win a lot of games. So, having some issues, I think, on Solaire Club, but some issues that they can address. Also, don't pick Vindicator. That wasn't great, but that'll do it for this series. And once again, Dawn taking it 2-0. They will move on to the winners bracket semifinals, and Solaire Club going to drop down here to the losers bracket round 4, I want to say. I forget which one, but it's fine. I'll cover that match eventually too. So that'll do it here, and congrats to Dawn.